pages and networks that exist before them, but Six Degrees was the one that was first recognized as what we would call now a social network because it combined having a profile, a place where you could list your friends, and a way to move through those friends lists. Before then, we mostly had things like dating sites where you could have a profile and sometimes you'd have friends lists, but there was no cohesive combination to all of them. And next slide. 6 Degrees sadly was very short-lived. It closed down in 2000. A lot of stuff I was reading said it's probably a little ahead of its time. Businesses though did kind of catch on to the idea. We had Rise.com in 2001, which did lead to LinkedIn. I don't know how many of you have created a LinkedIn profile, but it's been the big thing in libraries right now. 2003, we had social networks really starting to go. So we had MySpace and Zynga, Friendster. I think I actually had a Zynga page, which again, embarrassing to admit. But all these things were everywhere. Everyone signing up, people meeting like mad. You go to the next page. After the social networks started going, blogging became very, very popular. LiveJournal was one of the first and biggest. Sorry, I got a lot in the chat. Was one of the biggest and first ones for things like that. It's still fairly popular, but it got sold to Russia and not as popular anymore. Um, the thing that they were all working on is to fine-tune the appeal of how the profiles were working, how the friends lists were functioning, and the ease that everyone could move through them all, as well as privacy concerns. Whenever you hear people getting upset about the network they're belonging to, it's generally over a privacy concern. Think of every kerfluffle that's been over Facebook in recent history. It's something that's changed over in the interface or something that's changed in a privacy concern lately. You can go to the next slide. We stuck our reference slides in the middle, so I apologize. So you can next slide whenever you see them. I am sorry about that. And I will turn it over to Jamie temporarily.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking to you guys about the top 5 most popular social networking sites. But before I do, to get you guys involved, since it's been a long night, can you guys type into the chat box which social networking site you think will be number 1, the most popular? Okay, so what I'm seeing, actually everything you guys have listed fall under the top 5, but the number 1 is actually Facebook. So next slide. Okay, so Facebook is the most popular social networking site. It was launched in February 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg, which most of us know. As of September 2012, it has over 1 billion active users. More than half of them are using Facebook even on their mobile device. And as most of us know, it can be used to connect friends and family as well as promote business. Next slide. Okay, and the number 2 is Twitter, which a few of you I see have mentioned as well. It started and was created in 2006. It offers users to send and read text-based messages of up to 140 characters, which are known as tweets. So this is basically not as much conversation as Facebook. It tries to limit characters, and it gives users the ability to connect with anyone, anywhere in the world simply by following that particular person. Next slide. Okay, so number 3, the number 3 most popular social networking site is LinkedIn. It was founded in December of 2002. It's designed for people in professional occupations for more so professional networking, and it helps individuals and companies build and maintain business as well as like job contacts. Next slide. Number 4, Pinterest. I actually found this one interesting because I myself have one, but I wasn't aware that this many other people had them. It was launched in 2010, and it has significantly more women followers than men. It's basically a social pin board for those of you that don't know. You basically pin and share photos, and they're separated into categories. So weddings, fashion, different aspects like that, hobbies. Okay, next slide. And the number 5 is Google Plus, which most of us have, especially in the NOW program. It was launched in June of 2011. As of December 2012, it has a total of 500 million registered users, which surprised me actually. It aims to make sharing on the web more like sharing in real life. Users can add friends and family, and I know specifically in this course I have added many of you just to follow my blog sites and things like that I post. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Rolando.
Good evening, everybody. Just to build upon more of this, we know what the top, excuse me, we now know what the top 5 social media sites are. But who are using these sites? You know, who are the individuals that are using these sites? And that would be a large population of digital natives. As Mark Prensky defines these individuals as a group, specifically students in kindergarten through college, that have grown up surrounded and saturated with new technologies. So if we go to the next slide, where does that leave the rest of us? We lie as digital natives, those individuals that are outside of the digital native arena, and they adopt digital environments opposed to being fully immersed within it. So with that said, I want to take some time out to ask you guys to type in which one best represents you. You go to the next slide, please. So just quickly take 2 seconds and just type in which one you feel best encompasses your digital background, digital history. All right. So when reading about digital natives and digital immigrants, I was thinking of my students in particular. So I work at the University of Albany as an academic counselor. I work with underrepresented students in the STEM fields. And something that stuck out to me was when I was talking to my students and they said, I don't want to use technology. I think social media is quote unquote stupid. So if we go to the next slide, I've kind of used that terminology to create a term that I like to call a digital hermit, which is a term that I respectfully dub as those individuals who shy away from the usage of new technologies such as social media. And it's not the fact that they only shy away from the usage of social media, but they have a hard time dealing when it's incorporated in classes and the educational system. So that is my portion of this at the moment. I think I'm going to send it back to April.
All right. So we wanted to also look at the applications of all of this, and the 2 ways. Even when we were making Facebooks for the class, we were looking at ways people were using them. It seems the most common ways would be for education and for businesses and nonprofits. So learning and for groups. So for education, we can use the apps such as Facebook or Twitter for class discussion platforms as opposed for a traditional LMS. You can also use blogs like we've been doing as a space for students to share ideas and for peers to join in discussion through comments as opposed to individuals just handing in papers. For someone like me who's terminally shy, it gets me to actually participate. I never actually participate in a face-to-face class, something like Facebook blogs. I'm much more likely to actually participate. It goes back to the previous group's discussion, where you have different learning styles. So it's something for educators to think about. For businesses and nonprofits, is an excellent way to get news to the customer community in regards to events and activities, and also to get feedback from that same customer and community base. Next slide, please. You do need to have a set of best practices, though. If you're using it for anything official, you really should develop a sort of social media policy and stick to it. Ensure that users can report abuse or questionable content, develop a process for be consistent both in posting regularity and your content. Figure out what you're doing with your page and stick to that. You also want to make sure you're engaging your audience, so you want to respond to comments as they come in, keep discussion going in your class, strike up conversation. So I run the page for my library's technology lab. I have to keep stuff going on in there, or else no one's going to come in and see when classes are. You want to make posts that are relevant and appealing to your audience. And beware of privacy and moderator settings that are available, so you can actually run the page like you need to run it. And next slide, and that should be it. I'm sorry we crammed so much in there.